there's a lot of different ways to look at the world from the perspective of like a dude's internal thoughts. And to an extent, I feel like one sort of perspective which I can get behind pretty well is that everything that everybody does is just an accumulation and kind of a balancing out of wants, right? Everybody wants some cheddar, so they go to work. Nobody necessarily wants to do their homework, right? So that's negative motivation to do it. But you don't want to fail your class either. That's positive motivation. And then you end up doing it, right? So it's just kind of a balancing act. Getting into an example that actually will probably make more sense for me to describe. Everybody wants to look like they lift. Who doesn't want to be leaner, more muscular, just fit, right? But do people actually want to go to the gym on a consistent basis? No. So for the most part, that want to just chill at home is stronger than the desire to actually go into the gym and work out, which it's kind of like you just have to some sort of situation just has to push you over the edge to actually get you started, because there are at least nobody that I talk to who actually likes the gym. There's nobody that every day they go in and they're like, oh, this is the fucking worst, I hate lifting, I hate it. It's like once you start and you kind of understand all the benefits all around to it, then you sort of see that it's just a positive cycle, right? Who doesn't want to get into something where it ends up being an upward spiral? Somebody in the gym today was asking me, what's my discipline? What's my motivation? What keeps me going to the gym, even on days where maybe I feel like total shit and I don't want to? And I was kind of telling them I'm a little bit spoiled, because even in the early days of lifting, probably for whatever subconscious reason of like, I don't know, maybe some kind of insecurity in my mind, nothing really comes to, there's no specific thing, right? For whatever reason, I'm just kind of wired where I like lifting weights. I like the feeling of the pump. I like making progress, bodybuilding wise, muscle growth wise. I like throwing around a lot of weight. It's cool walking around just being a big dude. It's just all positives for me. So why wouldn't I do it? You know what I'm saying? That's like asking somebody why they would get into a freaking hot tub. Well, I like it. It feels good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think in that sense, maybe I'm just, wired in a different way. But I say that's a good thing. So if that's you, if you feel like you're not necessarily, anybody that thinks that they can go into the gym on a consistent basis for just whatever reason, they gotta rewire their brain, man. So basic premise, what I'm really trying to get at, this is just as rambly as the first talk, whatever. If you want it, then you can get it, right? If you want it, you can get it. And you have to believe that with certain, if you drop something, or let's say you put a cup of fucking milk on the side of the table, what's gonna happen when you push it off, right? It's gonna fucking fall, spill over, probably break. But you know for a fact, 100% that that's going to happen. So it gets a little funkier. I mean, we're getting into like manifestation, freaking whatever, cool ideas. This isn't necessarily stuff I think about all the time. But if you can see yourself in the future going into the gym as though it's a guarantee, as though it's just as, necessary as you just waking up, breathing, and getting some food in your system, right? If you can just see that as a normal part of your routine, then it's not a challenge. So whatever, take with that what you will. I'm getting real rambly, because it's fun saying motivational stuff. Sometimes I think a lot of these quotes are a little bit cheesy, but when I say this stuff, I don't know, it's like I can't really relate to the feeling of not wanting to go into the gym, apart from like one-offs where maybe I was really tired that day, or if I don't know, if I was sick, whatever. Like stuff I was talking about earlier, which would keep me out of the gym. Apart from situations like that, I want to go to the gym. So it's almost kind of foreign to me to think, I just don't get it. So that's, like I was saying earlier, I think I'm just spoiled in that way, that I'm just crazy enough to be wired to do this shit all the time. Sometimes you can't totally control whether or not it's going to be good or not, but as long as you go in and, push yourself, you're going to have a better chance. It's not like you're guaranteed to kill it. Nobody is ever guaranteed to kill it. But if you don't try, then you definitely won't. If you get after it, you got a chance. You got a fighting chance for sure. But if you never do, then what's the point of even thinking to expect any sort of results? Instead of like, oh, well, if I don't really think I'm going to be able to do it, I won't even try it. Yeah, whatever. You know, right? I mean, bust out let's quote Mr. Menser here. You never know how good you'll be until you try. So let's get with it. Like I like stuff like that a little bit more. As you do it more and more, and maybe you kind of realize like, okay, this is something I want to put a lot of energy into. I want to put a lot of time into this, because not only do I like the results I'm getting, but I also like the process of, making that progress. Just training every day, I look forward to it. It's like my main thing. I could have a totally shit day. I could have like full of exams. I'm just imagining a really busy day for me. So like tons of exams, tons of homework. I gotta go do something. I gotta replace some kind of something. I gotta clean the whatever. A full day of like just chores. Not really any fun. But once I'm done with that main portion and I get my little 2-hour gap with gym, I'm like, all right, here comes the fun part. Here we go. And I like that a lot. Having something like that, I really think it can kind of, going from nothing to something, going from nothing to having something which you can put a lot of energy and effort into and make day by day changes, and you're just so into it, it's like what you think about more than anything else. I think to have something like that can, I don't know if I'm going to say it'll change your life, but I think it's going to give you a much better chance of having a good time. I've said this a couple times before, and I think every time I say it, it's worth mentioning. You got to remember, you're not just a dude walking around doing his tasks. You're still just a brain in your skull piloting this fucking big ass thing. And how you feel physically is seriously going to affect your overall subjective mood, right? So if every day you kind of feel groggy, you just sort of, you really think you're going to have fun doing all your other shit? I'm not so certain. So everybody and their mom, I'm not saying you got to lift a crazy amount of weights, but I definitely think that honestly, I won't even say a number like that. 100% of people will benefit from, let's just say, 30 minutes of cardio and a bit of weight exposure. Maybe you're different, and that's a perfectly good motivator for you, but it doesn't make sense. Just the idea of doing anything or putting a lot of effort into just changing yourself, like reshaping whatever you do and whatever you're into to match somebody else's approval. I don't know, man. That's just so silly. Right? You're letting them control your fucking life in that sense. It's like you should be the captain of your own ship, and you should steer it the best way you see fit. To do things just out of, I don't even know what I'd call it, maybe insecurity, maybe whatever. I don't find it to be a really long-lasting source of motivation. And it's just not even conducive to longevity either. Because what happens if you get your quote-unquote goal? Like, I want to bench 225 so I can show off to so-and-so. What happens when you get it? Where do you go now? Your hypothetical motivation or whatever was driving you is gone. You did it, and honestly, it's probably not going to feel that good, right? It's just not how I would want to go about it. It kind of applies to what you think about, too. If somebody's just kind of upset you got some kind of beef, some kind of anything, and I'm not talking social media, I'm talking like you're pissed off at your dad or some shit, stuff like that. Just, what do you get? Tell me, in all honesty, what you get out of spending like any amount of time like hemming and hawing, like, God damn that motherfucker. You're just tiring yourself out, man. Even if you're not. Even if you're actually like, you're just wasting energy, dude. Come on. It's no fun, right? I don't want to say get over it. This can apply to all sorts of shit going on, whatever. Anything that causes you any serious emotional discourse, let's say. To an extent, you kind of have to just, I think what I'm really trying to say, try to take control of your own mind. Just because some kind of thought arises, it doesn't mean that you have to put any value into it. If you think about some kind of anything that fucking upsets you, girl problem, whatever, anything that could really get you going, get you riled up, just, it's easy to say. It's very easy for me to just sit here and say, don't get so worked up about it. But if you can kind of get to a point where you can look at yourself from the third person and be like, what the fuck am I freaking out about for? What am I doing? Who cares? Just kind of move on like that. I mean, you're getting close to a pretty good state of mind. Just a pretty good approach to the world. If any kind of little thing that might kind of hit you the wrong way gets you fucking ticked off, you're just kind of at the mercy of whatever is around you. If you're in the car, somebody totally cut you off, somebody did some kind of something to you, and now you're fucking pissed. Shit. If you can catch yourself like that, and everybody will have this moment, if somebody like almost clips you on the highway, right, that'll get you going for sure. They're about to fucking spin you into the ditch. The fuck, man. If you notice something like that, and you can third person reflect and say, okay, well, it's fine now, you're good. Be chill like that. That's you're going to be better off. So as best as you can, whether or not you even care to think about this, whatever, do shit that makes you feel good, but is actually, let's just say, progressive. Like once you kind of get in the groove of doing that sort of stuff, I think the better. If you just don't have any mental control and you just kind of chase after whatever dopamine spike is immediately available to you, not only is that not going to be conducive with gains, but it's just going to be conducive with being a chump, man. I'm sure it'd probably be pretty fun, and it would get my dopamine receptors firing if I just sat down and played Fortnite all day and like watched movies. I think my mind would like that, but you're more than just your lizard brain, which reacts to dopamine and like, feel-good hormones like that. You're a dude, you got an ego, so you gotta do shit that kind of feeds that. That was a big-ass loop of stream of consciousness. So if you took anything out of it, honestly, I kind of doubt you did.